Hello, so in this exercise, I'll talk about how to graph a quadratic. Basically, if you see a function y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, that's a quadratic function. And how do you graph it? You need to know if this is open up or open down. What does the curve look like? Open up or open down? That's determined by a, right? If a is a positive number, it's open up. If a is a negative number, that means it's open down. So the second step is you need to find X intercept. X intercept is when the graph intersect with the x-axis. These two is called X intercept. So how do you find x-intercept? Look at what x-intercept in common is when y equals to 0. So that means you need to set the equation equals to 0. So this next step is find the y-intercept. Y-intercept is when the curve intersect with the y-axis, which means when x coordinate equals to 0. So you want to set x equals to 0. So I have a times 0 plus b times 0 equals to c. So basically c is our y-intercept. So next is you need to find the vertex. How do you find the vertex? So the vertex is here. That is when x equals to negative b over 2a. And then you substitute negative b over 2a for the function to find the y-coordinate. So, I'm going to write it here. The x-coordinate equals to negative b over 2a. And then y-coordinate is you substitute negative b over 2a into the function to find the y-coordinate. And then we can find the vertex. Okay, let me give you examples. I have y equals to x squared minus 2x minus 8. So we need to identify a, b, c first. A equals to 1, b equals to negative 2, and c equals to negative 8. And we know that, hey, since a is greater than 0, so we know that the curve is going to open up. It's going to look like this one. Okay, next step is find x-intercept. X-intercept is when the function equals to 0. So I have y squared minus 2x minus 8 equals to 0. We already learned many ways to solve for x. Either we solve by factoring it, or by completing the square, or use quadratic formula. You can use any way that you want. In here, it will be easier for us to just factor it. So we have x coordinate either equals to 4 or the x equals to negative 2. So we found two x-intercepts, which is 4 when x equals to 4, y equals to 0. When x equals to negative 2, y equals to 0. So y-intercept is when x equals to 0. I have a 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 8 equals to our y-coordinate, which is negative 8. So I have when x equals to 0, y equals to negative 8. Next is vertex. Vertex is we need to find the x-coordinate first. With x equals to negative b over 2a. So if b is equals to negative 2, a is equals to 1. So I have negative, negative, we will end up with a positive. After we find out x, we need to substitute x equals to 1, to find the y-coordinate. So I have 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. So the y-coordinate equals to 9, negative 9. So we find vertex is 1 and -9. So now we can draw the graph. We have open up. We know the graph is like a U. And then -2, 0, 4, 0. Y-intercept is -0, -8. And then vertex is in here, 1 and 9. You connect all of this stuff together and it's going to be open up. So here's the graph. So let me give you another example that if it's open down. Okay. So if I have y equals to -2x squared plus 16x minus 24. Again, we need to identify A, B, C. A equals to -2, B equals to 16, C equals to -24. Again, since A is less than 0, we know that this is open down. So the graph should look like something like that, like an N. And then we find X-intercept. X-intercept is we set the equations equals to 0. We can either factor it or you can use quadratic formula, try to solve it. So I'm going to factor it. So I have -2x squared minus 8x plus 12 equals to 0. So I have x minus 2 times x minus 6 equals to 0. AC method, factor it. If you don't remember, go back to chapter 7 to do some review. So I have x either equals to 2 or x equals to 6. So my x-intercept is 2, 0, and 6, 0. Y-intercept. Y-intercept is when the equation equals to, when x equals to 0, which is -24. I have y-intercept is x equals to 0, y equals to -24. Okay, next is vertex. Vertex is when x equals to -b over 2a, b equals to 16, 2 times a, which is -2. I have positive 4. So the y-coordinate of the vertex equals to -2, 4 squared, plus 16 times 4 minus 24, which is equals to 8. So the vertex should be 4 and 8. So now we can draw it with all the information that we have. We know that it's open down. We know that x-intercept, vertex, and y-intercept. So x-intercept, we have 2, 0, and then 6, 0. Y-intercept is 4, -24, 0, -24. And then vertex is 4, which is in between, and 8. Label all of these, and we know that this is open down like a N. So this is the graph. Let me know if you have more other questions.